Hello to you who are tuning in right now. Staffan here. First of all, I believe that many people of you are finding yourself to this moment because you heard a video of Thomas, my dear friend, my dear brother, opening up about something very courageous, very personal, the passing about his mother, Helena. Maybe many of you are awakened with a lot of emotions right now, and I just want to send a virtual hug to anyone tuning in. And there's been quite some tears when I've been thinking, when I've been talking, when I've been thanking this beautiful woman, Helena, that gave birth to Thomas and gave inspiration to why we are here today as well. A woman that I can't find words to describe, but a feeling, and I hope in the best way possible by this video podcast today we can bring light to that, because I know Thomas' intention is to honor his beautiful mom, Helena. And he also wishes to maybe reach a soul or two out there who might find something in this video. For those of you who maybe don't know, Thomas, our dear friend and brother Amar and Tommy are running a YouTube channel called Yes Theory, where we travel to over 20 countries a year. And we've been overthinking it for years, but we have decided that now is the time to press the button. There are a lot of mystery, magic, connection and love out in the world, but there's also a lot of unspoken struggles, and we wish to have a space where we can talk about these things, not necessarily have answers, but maybe questions, and together explore with you. And we also know that Helena was one of the greatest inner explorers the world has seen. I can confirm that by endless curiosity and endless questions to the people she met. So we're gonna start this episode today by having a full-on dedication and honoring to Helena, and also listening more to Thomas and his experience during these very, very, very tough times. We have just bought 2 camping chairs, 3 small cameras, and we're gonna just be recording as we go. And this first episode is taking place in a park in Paris. And yeah, it feels honestly a bit scary to just record and see what comes, but I believe that the scary moments and the conversations we don't really know where they're gonna land are the ones that maybe matter the most. So we will record, and we're happy to have you here, and also in a day like this where it's both honoring and love, but also sadness and grief. So yeah, we'll play the press button and see what arrives. So we're starting a podcast.
Is this what this is? It's been a long time coming. I mean, we just feel like we've been overthinking this for a while, and it's just nice to jump into it.
Yeah.
We don't have all the answers. Currently we don't have a name, but we do have, I think, the spirit of what we want this to be.
Yeah.
And I think we know the North Star that we're heading in. And I think that people on the internet are looking for a place to belong. And I think they're looking for a place where we can just feel human. And I hope that this place can be that, you know, because I think the internet is filled with so much negativity.
Yeah.
And the world is filled with a lot of pain at the moment.
It is.
And I think having a space where our lovely viewers, subscribers, Yes Fam members, seekers can join us, sit back, relax, have a good time with us, and go deep into us asking potentially big questions about the universe and small questions about our actual existence. And I'm very honored to have you as my co-creator on this. I don't know. We don't really know what we're doing, but we're doing something.
Yeah, we're doing something, and
yeah,
and it feels right.
Yeah,
and it feels in the body and the heart and the spirit.
Yeah,
and we got these chairs today.
Yeah, yeah, we're figuring this out. This setup is the most like DIY I've ever had. And we have lovely church bells in the background that just randomly started the moment this podcast started.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something in the air today, it feels like.
Yeah.
I asked Thomas if I could do a quick prayer before we're starting, because yeah, we're doing a very special episode today about a very special person, and we're gonna come back to that. And as soon as the prayer ended, the clock started to ring, and we started to talk.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Talking about a special day, a couple of days ago we decided that we're gonna send it and start this podcast. It's very much happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And you said we should do it on Saturday, because in 2 days we're traveling and everything is going on now. And I said yes to that, and here we are. What I didn't know, what maybe you didn't realize, is that today is the day, I got the goosebumps now.
Oh,
we
we met
6 years ago.
Are you serious?
The day on the,
what day is it?
6th of September. Yeah.
Oh.
I get so much goosebumps now.
Oh. That's today.
That is today.
I didn't even like connect. I don't even know what day of the week it is. Like my schedule is so confusing at the moment that I had no idea. I didn't even realize, today is the 6th of September.
Yeah. Yesterday I connected that. And for people who don't know, I think we'll tell the story.
Yeah.
6 years ago, today, it's wild it happened today. Today, 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyhow, today, 6 years ago, to make it a little bit shorter, I was walking on my way home on the streets of Stockholm.
Yeah.
And on a crossroad that changed my life forever, I decided to go to the right. By some intuition, by some voice. We've been speaking about it. I never speaking openly about it, but something just felt very right to go to the right that day. Yeah. And so it was. Like 500 meters later, I walk into you, and also beloved Tommy as well, holding the camera. But we walk into each other, and that day changed my life, our life, in many beautiful ways. But that was the day to remember.
What a coincidence. Or is it a coincidence?
Yeah, who knows? I only know that I'm forever grateful for it. And you and me were in Africa recently, traveling without our phones, and we had a beautiful evening there as well. You just talked about that moment. We looked at each other and we're like, how did we meet now again?
It is very bizarre that we met in an episode.
Yeah. And what did you ask me? You should maybe explain as well.
The point of the concept of our story was to find a stranger in Sweden to swap lives with a stranger in Texas. We figured the contrast between the introverted Swedish lifestyle and the extroverted Texan lifestyle would be fun and interesting to see. We also picked Sweden because we thought it would be the hardest place to find a stranger to say yes to. We wanted to prove to people that even in the most introverted, technically loneliest country in the world, you can find someone to say yes. And what we didn't realize is that it was going to be maybe the easiest asking strangers moment ever, because you were the first person we actually asked to go on this trip. And I thought that you were messing with us. I think you thought we were messing with you, and we were like, this can't be possible. And when you said yes, we thought maybe we need to ask some people after you just to get some no's, because people aren't going to believe that you were actually the first that we asked. And I think we get asked a lot, people when they're like, okay, but tell us for real. Was that real or was that fake? And I guess it's a good sign when people think that a friendship is too good to be true.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
It's a sign of a good friendship.
Yeah.
And
5% of me thought it was Candid Camera. I don't know if you ever watched that program, No. But in Sweden, everyone watched it. You are on Candid Camera. Anyhow, it was like a prank show, So they walked around on the street and talked to people, and I was like, "They're pranking me. Can't be true. Swapping lives, going to America. Sounded like a dream." So,
it sounded like a dream to you. Probably to most people, it sounds terrible. But to you, it sounded fun. And that's because you are who you are.
Yeah, I can say hello to everyone as well, for people who are tuning in, maybe who never met us. I call myself a professional dreamer for many years in my life. The day we met, I introduced myself to you as well on the street there. I'm a professional dreamer. I'm ready to go to America.
Yeah.
And our life just crossed in a beautiful way, and forever grateful to share this journey now together with you and Amar Kandil and Tommy Dyer and more people. And we are on a journey together, and we have decided to go all in and opening a new door of having these conversations as well. And it feels special. But dreamers met each other on the street that day, and we know also that a lot of dreamers are tuning in, and that's what we wish this to be. But what we're gonna say.
No, you've been the most beautiful addition we could have asked for, I think, in this group that we have here. And I think people that watch our videos feel it. And ultimately, Yes Theory, it has an external goal of being a sort of peace project at this point, but it also has an internal goal of friends growing with each other, supporting each other. And I think the type of support and the type of person that you are balanced the group in a way that was very needed when you arrived. I think you're a very you're a very sensitive, sensible person, and not in sometimes that can be used in a bad way, but in the best way possible. And I think you bring a touch to how we operate as a team that I think was very, very needed, and I think has just only made Yes Theory better than what it was before. So I'm just like excited to have, lifelong friend to continue traveling the world with. And I don't know how many countries I've been with Amar and Tommy. At this point, you might be like passing them, because we've been going to a lot of places.
Yeah, like 42 countries, you and me now.
42?
Mm-hmm. Every time we go to a new country, we like have this little list,
The thing is, there is no way that our future wives will ever beat this. That's the thing, is like we are going to be the person that we will have traveled to the most amount of countries with ever.
Yeah.
Like, unless you decide to go to like every country with your future wife, this is it.
Yeah.
We are each other's main travel partners, and I'd imagine that I'm in that ballpark with Amar as well. But we're never gonna beat this.
Hope there's not a jealous wife.
I was just about to say that. I hope hope they're okay with the bromance taking such a big part of our lives, because there's no turning back at this point.
Yeah, no, there's not. Yeah, just want to say thank you for saying that, bro. I got a bit touched by those words and taking it into my heart. And just want to take a moment as well to thank everyone who been on the journey, right? Like since day one, and encouraging. And I would not be sitting in this chair if it wouldn't be for kind-hearted people out there, and also for another special person that we're gonna start talking about now. So thank you to any one of those people. I'm getting very touched, just like sitting on those words. And to have a brother and a friend like you in life is like changed everything. I remember like Sweden's biggest newspaper asked me afterwards when this had happened and it was big and so on, and they asked me, what is your takeaway from this, all these views and whatever. I was like, yeah, I got increased self-esteem and I got some new friends. That was the best thing from it,
Yeah.
And I carry that. But I just want to send something back to you, and it was something I texted you. There's many things to say about you, but something I texted to you the other night was how of a courageous and beautiful man you are, in the sense of that you lead with your whole heart. You lead with your whole heart, and you're like a man who like fully walks into it, even if it's scary, and we are going to talk about something that I have never ever experienced, and maybe some people who are listening now have experienced, maybe some have not, but you have been living with your full heart, and I've been in awe many times of you, seeing how you show up in these out of words times. We are going to bless a woman named Helena Anna Margareta Bragg today, and she's an angel, and she's with us, and she's most likely with us in this conversation now, either sitting here or sitting there or sitting there, but probably started the bells. Probably started the bells. But I'm in awe by you, brother, and forever inspired, and also would like to start on that end, like the woman who raised you and the woman who brought you into this life, do you want to share some memory, that is beautiful or great when you look back at the time with Helena, your mom, the first memory that comes to you?
Definitely. I wonder if we should have some context for the people who haven't watched the video, maybe, before I start speaking about her. I can do a very quick recap, really. I mean, I'm assuming that many people just finished our story on the main channel and came here and might be in a bit of an emotional state having watched that story. I cannot watch it without crying every time, and I don't even know how it's gonna land with people. I hope it's gonna land well, and that my intentions behind the story are felt, that in their sincerity.
They are, bro. You have been so courageous in that as well, and it's gonna help other people out there. I know it. And
but in March of 2023, my mom was diagnosed with an incurable form of brain cancer, which I think for a long time I was hoping was a misdiagnosis, because I think people always, sometimes it happens, I've heard of some people get diagnosed with a cancer and then they get told sometime later that it wasn't cancer or it wasn't as bad as they thought.
Yep.
But unfortunately that was not the case this time. And after an 18, 19-month battle with that cancer at the end of 2024, she passed away. And I was fortunate to be very close with my mom. I think some people maybe don't grow up so close to their parents, and our relationship with our families are always complicated. So I don't assume that everybody, necessarily has the same relationship. I was just very fortunate to have a good relationship with my mom. And I think a lot of it comes from just who she was.
Yeah.
She was, the more I reflect on it, and I think it's like the classic thing that happens when someone passes away, you really see their qualities, I think, a lot. But it's so clear, though, with my mom, she was not only the most intelligent person I've ever met, she was also funny and like incredibly loving and caring.
Yeah, incredible.
Sometimes highly intelligent people become almost too cerebral, but my mom was still fully in her heart. And the way that she looked at people, it felt like, oh wait, she's seeing through my mask. Anyone that she met, she would look at you and she would look past the mask. And I think it would make most people a little scared because it's like, oh wait, she's seeing me for real. Like, stop looking at me like that, And I think that's the gift that she had, is I think with anyone, especially people that hadn't felt seen before, she gave that to for some people for the first time ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people that maybe did not have the highest, the most loving upbringing or the most loving people around them, when she sat with you or spoke to you, she actually saw you. And I think that was, I don't know how she did that.
I was gonna say, do you know her magical secret sauce for that? Because I felt it, and I can tell you a story as well, me first time sitting down with her as well, because exactly what you described, she has that gift. So it's interesting to together look into what is that gift that some rare people actually hold. Because she really,
I don't want to go deep right away right now, but I think the reason why she's so good at it is because when she was young, she didn't feel like she ever received that. I think she always craved being seen, and she was a middle child, in a middle class family in the suburbs, and walked by herself to school, in the snow. And I think there's a part of her that felt like she was lacking something when she grew up, which she wanted to make sure that nobody that she encountered ever had to feel. And so I think she developed this gift, she turned her pain into a gift and into her superpower of making sure that she saw everyone. And it's interesting because I'm meeting people who met her once, when they were just teenagers, at a family dinner, and telling me that the way that she made them feel, even though they were just, the kids at the party, and other adults would say hi to them, but not really actually care what they have to say. My mom was not like that. She actually wanted to get to know, who are you? What is it that you're doing? And then if she can tell that you're being completely indifferent about life or not doing anything, she would call you out. She'd be like, what are you doing? You're a brilliant young person. You should be you should be,
she boosted you up.
Yeah, she was like,
if you were on this level before you met her, she sent you up on next staircase. First time I sat down with her in France together with the family, was a family dinner, and then I ended up next to Helena, and she starts to ask me questions, and I felt so safe with her. She was really holding me in the conversation, and I told her, secrets in my life that I haven't even told you. I have told them now, but it was about some things that I've been carrying in my life, and in an instant she got me to reveal this, and I started to cry with her, and she saw me so beautifully, and since then she was always checking up on me on this specific thing, how you're doing and these things, and your heart is needed, and always boosting, and she really had that gift of making other people better. And that's where we also called her super mom, right? And yes mom. And she's still the yes mom, forever yes mom. And truly a gift. Do you want to tell some memory when you think about Helena that comes to you, beauty or magic, and so you are like describing it in this sense here, but do you want to take us back to like a small or big moment where it's like, yeah, that was...
Yeah, I mean, I it's interesting because I had dyslexia growing up, so I was not very good at school. And in the French school system, not being good at school basically equates to being stupid. Like, it's sort of like the implied, like outcome of having bad grades. And as a kid, when you're like 6, 7 years old, like that hits, that hurts, to not feel intelligent, because it feels like this is how you measure intelligence when you're a kid. There's no other way that intelligence is really qualified. And it took me a while to realize that school is not the indication of intelligence. But I think once it's done its damage, it's there, But my mom understood that, okay, I might not be having the same grades as some of my friends, but I just need to find a way that I learn that is fitting to me. She did some research, and she taught me how to do mind maps, which is like this very specific way of memorizing and learning, which is much more intuitive for the brain than like list format. And then she helped with colors and drawings and all these things to make sure that I would basically have a visual way of learning or memorizing things, not just a written way, because she understood that words took a little longer for me to process. But visually, if there was visual elements that accompanied it, it would help a lot. And so she would every single evening sit down and help me, go through my homework or go through what I was learning. And we would all sit in bed with her, like with my siblings, and she would sort of like, we'd be all cozied up and we'd be looking through our different homework and our different books or things that we had to read or do for the next day. And we would just be sitting in her like big fluffy blanket, and she would be like helping us for a couple of hours before going to sleep. And it was always like such a cozy time where we also felt like held and not judged, where like school did feel much more judgmental, and where she could be able to just create a space where we felt safe asking any question and also telling her that we didn't understand, and then she would help us experiment with ways that we actually were able to learn. So with math, she devised like these games where like every step all the way up to my room, I had to do a multiplication.
On the steps?
So each step I have to do like 1 times 5, 5.
Wow!
5 times 2, 10.
She did that with the steps?
And then so I could go all the way up, and then basically like once I made it all the way up, then I was at my room and I could go to bed. So she would turn it into like a game.
Brilliant, Helena.
Yeah. So then you'd want to get the game. It becomes like a video game where you want to like...
I want to walk 2 steps now,
Then when you get to 8 and then you fail, you're like, damn it. And then you come back down and you're like, I'm definitely going to remember it now. And then you make it all the way up.
Are we starting a podcast about parenting right now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just going to try
to...
Not
that we
like...
know anything, but we're sharing the gifts from Helena. And
I mean, my mom, she read every single book about parenting that like was in the world at that time. And she said like not a single thing worked on me.
It didn't work on you.
It didn't work. Because I was a very energetic child. I learned how to walk when I was 8. I was like biking in a forest like this. I disappeared.
When you walked when you were
8 months old.
Yeah, 8 months old.
Yeah, sorry, not 8 years old.
I was just checking.
Yeah, 8 months old.
Yeah.
And I disappeared in a park when I was like 3 years old. Like I just biked away. I just left. And they had to have like police come search, but I biked just back to the car. I just found my way back.
Yeah.
So I've given her a lot of different moments of scare, which I feel terrible for now as an adult. But she just had the patience and the grace to continue, showing up in a loving way. But also, she was loving, but she was also very clear about boundaries and things like that. She wouldn't let us do whatever we wanted. Yeah. Like you also, she was very loving, and she never raised her tone at us, but you also just knew, like, just don't fuck with mom. Yeah. like just don't, there was a line, where like, you don't want to get there. But I think that's what kids need, because if you can just do anything,
for sure.
And like there are no consequences.
Need a framework.
Yeah.
I read a book or two. I don't say that know anything about that yet of parenting, but what I've read as well is you need guidelines for kids, or else you don't like. And I think especially with this kid, Thomas Bragg.
The revenge will be that I'm gonna have a kid that's gonna be like me.
Yeah.
She was like, just wait, just wait until you have to deal with it, and then you'll appreciate the patience that I had. I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
I can hear her voice now of saying like, Thomas.
Yeah.
You know, she always said that. You know, also you as a grown-up, you know, when you were spending time together with family and so on, it's like Thomas.
Yeah.
So beautiful mom and a beautiful gift of not judging other people. And I know also as well that your beautiful dad Frederick, who is like a gem of a human being. Spoke to him on the phone today as well, just to, you know, bless this conversation today and, you know, show my respect and my honor to Frederick. And Frederick once again, you know, reminded me of, you know, every time someone met Helena, people could be like, what happened? What happened? What happened effect? Almost like Helena has the what happened effect in the best and greatest way. Because you're left with something that is a greater feeling about yourself or your surrounding than you had before. So maybe we just created a what happened effect. I just want to jump back again to the times where life was testing you to its higher capacity. I also once again want to say, as always, you know, it's a safe space, and you share as much or as little you wish or feel good in your heart right now. You have created a very personal video on YouTube sharing more about this. So just want to, like, you know, hold space in the sense of, you know, whatever you have capacity in this moment to share, you share. So whatever comes, that comes, and that will be beautiful as it is. Yeah, just wanna have that said.
Thank you.
But I would like to go into a little bit of the very tough times of the starting times with the diagnosis, and, you know, when you are realizing that this is unfolding in front of your life, that your mom is becoming sick and is sick, and how that's changed in your life and everything that was around and so on. One memory that comes to me was that we were in Paris, and you also shared in the video that you had were phone calls with your dad. Do you want to take us into these moments a bit, you know, like being in Paris, and this is between all the travels and things going on, and then life changes from one day to another.
Some of it is sort of a blur, to be honest, because it all just happened, and then your life just, like, in an instant, everything is just different. It's like my life feels so clearly split in half, you know, or split in two. There's like the moment before that day, and then there's everything like after that day. And it's just two different lifetimes. And that's the strangest part now is, I still feel like I'm trying to figure out what my life is today. My mom one day, like, just fell, and we were actually in Paris together, remember? And my dad calls me at midnight and is like, we have to take mom to the hospital. She, like, fainted and is like, she can't feel the left side of her body. So my dad thought she had a stroke or something. So they went into the hospital, they did some tests, but everything, like, nothing was coming up on, like, the stroke side. So then they did a brain scan, but it took some time to, like, really get, like, the full scan done. So it took about 2 weeks or so for us to find out, like, what she actually had.
I remember that, And we were going to go out traveling as well. We were going to go and have a trip with a reunion between Amar and his dad, and we were going to go traveling. And I was checking our text messages actually before this chat here, and just got some moments back to those times. And we were going to travel, and we were texting, you know, and you didn't know what was happening, and then you said, I'm getting the answer today, and the answer was not so good that day, so you couldn't join the trip, and last minute. And I remember sitting on the plane, by the way, up in the air. Just got that memory now, texting with you and you saying that it was not good, and I was just crying that whole airplane trip, and just wanted to turn around the airplane, you know, and go and hug you, but I knew you was with Frederick and that you were there. But it was that is some moment in life where everything just changed for you, so to speak, when it's like the diagnosis came. Can you...
I mean, it's like, it was easily the worst day of my life. It's like my dad called me, and then I went to my parents' apartment, and my dad was trying to be the one to tell my mom, but they had just emailed her the diagnosis. So my mom had just opened it on her phone,
Oh.
like by herself. And
Not good. Didn't know
she
that.
was in a state of like panic. I got over to their place and she's like she's like pacing back and forth and she's like can't even take it in. And my dad is like doesn't know what to do. And then my mom goes into her room to try to like lie down and meditate or like do something to calm down. And my sister comes and she's in a really good mood, like she doesn't know what's going on. And just didn't even know how to like tell her, you know. And she was telling me like it's gonna be fine, you know, like this is like she didn't know yet how bad it was. And then to have my dad tell her, and then my brother came right after that, and it was just like a domino of everyone realizing, and just the pain in that room for that day. Everyone was just in a complete state of shock, and it's like pain I've never felt before. You know, it's like indescribable amounts of pain to the point that your body can't understand it, and so it goes into denial almost. You know, you immediately go into like, can't be that, it's got to be a misdiagnosis, it's got to be this or that, like it can't be, like this is impossible. And yeah, the main thing in that moment was just thinking about mom and just thinking about what she's gonna need. And immediately my brain into just like, how can we...
what you were going into, like just thinking, what can you do here?
Immediately thinking about what can we do to help her, immediately.
Yeah. You didn't have any time to like stop for yourself in that sense. It was more like
it was like instantaneously just like, how do we support her? And like, what is it gonna take during this journey to make it through somehow? And yeah.
Whenever I've been close to your family during these years, you know, like it's always been the family brags, you know, very, very close and tight. And speaking to Frederick, your dad, today on the phone, and the beauty as well to see like how you as a family show up and how all the love and light that, you know, is in Helena and in the family like can still live on, and all of these things, like all the beauty and all the love and all the magic, despite the sorrow, despite the like sorrow that you can't really even put words to. And one of those things is like how your family is like treating each other, taking care of each other, like very, very inspiring. Do you wanna say any words about that? How the family brags, like, yeah,
I mean, it's just how my mom set the tone. You know, she like created the culture. You know, and like my mom took care of my dad's parents when they were in the hospital. My mom had a person that she knew that she wasn't even that close to, like a friend, you know, but someone that she actually hadn't had a great relationship with. Like she was, you know, in our world, and they actually like had a bit of a difficult relationship. But when she went through a divorce, my mom was the main person who was there for her. I think she just will never let somebody go through something difficult by themselves. You know, she will always be the one to go out of her way to help you or to be there. You know, she's the person who would, like, when my grandma had to go to the hospital, my dad's mom, she went there and decorated the room with pictures of her family and put flowers and brought Swedish newspapers so she could feel at home, and like did all these things, you know. Like she's always thinking about the details, and she set the tone for how we treat each other. You know, she led by example. She never told us you know, she never had to tell us go see grandma. She just, you know, created the culture and created the example. And so when she got sick, it was like obvious to us that like now we have to do this for her. You know, it wasn't even like nobody had to be asked to do it. It was just a given. It just was how it had to be. And so, yeah, because the way that we saw it is that she's going to carry the torch. She has to carry this burden. This is hers to carry. So we have to do whatever we can to make holding this torch the least painful that it can be. And whatever that means, we will figure it out along the way. And each of us have different gifts that we can bring to help her feel better. And that's what the whole family locked in on and just went for.
Yeah, I don't wish, obviously, anyone or to ever be in experience like this, but we know they happen. I think that's is one of the reasons why I find you so extremely courageous to be able to talk about these things, which is so personal and so private, but that you open up about it, and as you know, with your clearest intention to help others. So thank you for having these conversations and opening up about it, because it's helping me in this moment, because I have never ever experienced something even close to what you've experienced here. But we know these things happen in society, but we don't speak about them. So I just want to say that I'm like forever inspired by how you are even having this conversation, even able to like talk about it, and teaching me and others how to show up in the most hardest, toughest times, because I have seen those tough times, like in the way I've been able to see them. We've been sharing hotel rooms, we've been on airplanes, we've been in Paris, and yeah, you've been in a war for quite some time. Do you want to tell us more about that war and the war that has been going inside of you? I know you share a lot of beautiful things, you know, about your angel, your mama, your family, but I just want to take a moment as well to go into like your pain and your inner world, as much as you wish and dare to share. But do you want to tell us about that?
I think life, I would like to think that life gives you these challenges for some reason, and even in the moment where it feels like the most unfair and the most unnecessary of pain, I've tried to think about how can I turn this into something, and how can I not let this take me down, because ultimately I've seen pain turn into really negative outcomes in people. Unfortunately, I've seen
bad coping mechanisms,
addiction,
turning a bad way.
I've seen depression, and I've been through depression and anxiety and all sorts of terrible things. And I think, you know, in Buddhism they say that suffering is not mandatory. Pain will happen, but you don't need to suffer. And I think a lot of the suffering happens when you are refusing to feel the emotions that you are being given. And that is something that I learned through a lot of meditation, to sit with it, and something that you've encouraged me to do a lot of, because ultimately if you run away from yourself, that darkness will just never leave.
Yeah, it's like running away from a shadow, right? Like it will always chase you.
That's exactly the right analogy. It is exactly like running away from your own shadow. And I during this time, I think the hardest part was just that the life that we've designed requires us to be in motion. The life that we've designed requires me to show up with good energy, to be out traveling and doing all these things, and doing that required more energy than at any other moment in my life. Because I mean, we'd go to the hospital, spend the night there. I wouldn't sleep because my mom at night would need me to carry her to the bathroom because she couldn't walk by herself. So you go home, I drop my clothes off, put them in the dryer, and then go immediately to the hospital to sleep there. You don't sleep for several nights, and then we would leave again. And it's like, now I have to ignore that all of this is happening and film a travel story. And I think some people will probably be like, why would you keep doing this if that's what's happening? And
do you want to tell us a bit about that, why?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I remember what Helena told.
What did she say?
Go out there.
Yeah.
Go there. Because I remember you telling me this dilemma of like, you just want to sit next to your mom all the time, be there all the time, you just hold her all the time, and it was like a problem for you. And I remember you telling Helena about this, and Helena was like, go out there, Thomas, I want to see the videos, I want to see these things here. And that's the thing as well, right? Always when we went and visit her, she was always sitting there with her iPad, right? And she was like, oh, that video there, or that video there. She had always seen the videos, and these things. And she knew as well that when you were out there, you're also living your truest life, I believe. Please fill in the gap. But that is my understanding, speaking to Helena and always coming home, to Helena, and so that she was always so happy, and so engaged.
Yeah.
Number one, engaged subscriber, like always.
That's the thing, is she would, you know, tell me that she was living vicariously through our adventures, and she has always been the number one fan of Yes Theory. And so when I was slowing down, she was like getting frustrated because she was like, I need this to give me energy. I watch this and it makes me excited to be alive. And I was fortunate that I was able to leave for very short trips like we were doing. And then while I was gone, either way we were taking turns with my family. So there was always somebody there. And we were doing relays because it was very hard to sleep there for more than a few nights in a row, because then you would need to eventually get actual rest.
Yeah, you were sleep deprived, you
so
told me.
We were taking a very natural rhythm of passing the baton over to each other. And you know, if with the option of completely giving up and not going, and in that situation putting Yes Theory in very great danger of like not making it through, that option, my mom was like, hell no. You know, she was like, absolutely not.
You were jumping from hospitals to sleeping next to your mom to, as you're saying, carry your mom to the bathroom. You like, that's something very personal. Thanks for opening up about that. You know, like you were doing it as personal and heavy and tough as possible, and then still all of these things going on in life. And I remember many times, you know, like crying in hotel rooms, and also we having to stop filming sometimes with get emotional every time I think about it, because you've been so strong, brother. I just want to say it once again, and you've been strong because you've been able to show your emotions as well. I just want to have that said. That's one of the most beautiful things you've been able to do, you know. You've been like holding it together, you've been also going to the gym, you've been also been crying, you've been also been showing up for your mother, you've been like the full on. If I would be a girl now, I would be chasing you right now. I would say that, yeah. I would put that ring on that hand. I'm just gonna say that now. But
you know, on that note, what's interesting is I've always been someone who, like, I try my best, and I don't succeed every time, but I try to live with a certain set of values that I follow.
You do.
And I think those values and feeling like I do my best to stay connected to those values is what helps me be confident in myself, because I know that I'm living according to a certain set of principles that help me have a greater sense of self-esteem. And I felt in this moment, it never became clear to me in this moment that it's easy to be kind when you're in a good mood. It's easy to be happy when life is great and, you know, you're successful and whatever. Like, it's easy when you have a great relationship, like, that's easy. The hard part is, can you stay true to your values when life is putting you through its ultimate test, right? When it's taking the one person that you would be the most affected from them no longer being here, can you still be kind when that's happening?
And you have been.
I've tried my best, and some days it was really hard. Some days it was very, very hard, and I feel like I've cried like gallons of water, and now I'm able to speak about it a little bit more clearly. But I really felt that in this moment, the test that I have to go through is, can I stay true to myself? Can I keep showing up? And can I actually show up with even more depth, with even more integrity, with even more compassion, even though I'm sleep deprived, even though I feel that life has been incredibly unfair, even though Yes Theory was going through an incredibly difficult time financially, which is a whole other thing, but we were basically almost in survival mode and needed, right at the time where my mom got sick, to like ramp up our filming. What Yes Theory needed was more videos, more things happening. We basically were in debt at that moment, and we were under an enormous amount of pressure. And when this happened and we actually had to slow down, when you looked at how the numbers were tracking, it actually was a moment of like, can we actually make it on the other side of this? And so the only thing that I wish I would have had less pressure, and that Yes Theory could have been more fun. But unfortunately, it was a source of stress, the financial side of it. But I will say that without the purpose that I felt through the stories, through the people that we met, through the countries that we got to travel to, and the connections we got to make, I think I would have felt very just completely lost during this time, because the sense of purpose gave me a sense that like my life has a meaning despite all of this chaos. There is still good in this world.
Yeah.
There are still strangers who will take us into their homes.
Are you doing a Lord of the Ring reference now? There's still good in this world.
You know, Lord of the Rings, I watched it several times, and small tangent, I wasn't able to watch new movies during this whole time. It was very strange. Like I didn't want to watch things where I didn't know where the plot was going. Like I only watched movies I'd already seen.
Why? Just curious.
I think the comfort of watching a story where you know how it ends gave me peace in my own life where I didn't know where the story was going.
Wow, interesting. Yeah.
You know, I think I couldn't watch, you know, a drama or like a thing where there's a murder and they have to solve it and I don't know what's happening. Like it was way too stressful. I started so many movies I didn't finish. And going back to movies, they gave me a sense of comfort. They gave me a sense of hope. You know, and like Lord of the Rings is very much good versus evil, and horrible things, unfair things happening to, you know, undeserving people and them overcoming it.
We can say it's your favorite movie.
It's definitely my favorite movie.
Yeah.
But it gave me a sense of, peace, and it gave me a sense of comfort during that time. And
interesting. I didn't know that part, that you were watching movies or things that was in the need. I sometimes it's hard to put the words to it, in the sense of, you know, I've seen you in survival mode. I've seen you barely make it through the day sometimes. I've seen you trying to hold it together many times at filming. I've seen you being in Greece, filming a video, and we have to like you stop and you full on cry, and you know, we walk away a little bit from the host people that were hosting us, used to like having a little moment there. And I know when we're in Spain and Morocco filming, you know, and we got some very bad news about your mom, you know, and we had to like stop all filming, and this is like in the middle of the go. So I've seen you in all of these things, so it's interesting to also hear, understand me correctly, but the small thing of watching a movie that is familiar to you, that's a bit of a comfort.
There's a lot of weird things, like it was very hard to make new friends, you know, during that time, because it's like explaining to them that everything was just too much. You know, new things were difficult, which was weird, because experiencing new things with you and going to new countries felt great, you know, but too much new incorporated into my life just didn't feel like it was.
Your nervous system, your body, your spirit couldn't handle more of that. How has it been for you to carry all of this quietly, with nobody knowing besides you, me, your family, and very few people?
Well, I think it's felt right to do it that way. There's a part of me that at one point was contemplating whether something should be said, but then at the same time, when you're really going through it, the internet doesn't need to know, you know? And it was just frustrating because I felt disconnected from our audience for a while. And I felt that without having this acknowledged, without having any of what's going on even be mentioned, it feels like I'm living in a different reality. You know, there's like Thomas from Yes Theory reality, and then there's my actual life. And the hard part was sometimes I felt like I had to really, you know, just like pretend my life wasn't happening to actually be able to focus. And
like on one side of your life, it's just falling fully apart. And on the side, you're trying to be a host and showing up and.
And I think that's also why sometimes maybe sillier videos that felt less deep or like having a grander purpose were harder to be excited about, and why I started to maybe travel even more to countries like Syria, or we went to Turkmenistan, and you know, serious topics became more interesting to me because it felt like it matched a little bit where my life was. Going to go do some silly idea felt so bizarre, but if I'm telling an interesting, nuanced travel story about people in a potentially oppressed country, you know, and I'm getting to shine a light on their humanity, that feels like it's fulfilling a need within my heart that is nourishing me with energy.
Yeah.
And I was okay having me from the videos and me in my life for a moment. I was okay with that separation.
Yeah.
But it just, the more time went on, the harder it became, I think. And there was moments where maybe a video didn't land with our audience and the comment section turned on us. Those moments were 10 times more painful because it already felt like the burden was heavy enough, you know, and then to see negative comments, as much as I've been doing this for 10 years and I feel fairly well equipped to handle a negative comment section, I'm so used to our comment section being good. And during this time, I was just praying, just like, please, just for this period, let's try to have this be a positive place. I just need yesterday to be a good, positive place for me, because the business side was stressful, and if also the audience turned on us and just got mad at us for whatever reason, it
Not
just
everyone. Sometimes a loud minority as well.
Loud minority, for sure.
People know.
For sure, and there's
You
a
know.
reason why there's
But
millions
I
of
know
people
what
who
you
still
mean.
come up to us on the street. You know, comment section is not representative of the actual audience. However, it feels that way.
It feels like that.
It feels that
and
way.
It's tough.
And when it feels like I'm doing everything that I can just to get this story out, and then we made a mistake, and then people are pissed. It's those moments were terrible, to be honest, like really terrible. And I don't want to speak about myself as like some victim. You know, I'm not feeling sorry
never
for
speak
myself.
about yourself as a victim.
I'm just saying that that period sucked. And yeah, I mean, it's funny. There was a moment where like a lot of things were not working out.
Yeah.
And I remember going outside. I literally just like left my apartment and I went outside and I looked up at the sky. And I've never done this in my life before. And I was like, why? What have I done? And I'm not even joking. In that moment, it starts to rain. And I'm like, holy shit, what?
Oh, damn.
Like, what does this mean? You know,
Yeah.
what? Like, how can everything just go so bad? Like, every part. And the craziest thing is, at some point I was asking myself, have I gotten too lucky? You know, like there was a part of me that was wondering, wait, I love my family, I love my friends, I took the risks in my early 20s, but now I have this amazing thing that I get to do for a living, and you know, I'm healthy, I'm like fairly physically healthy, like I have all these things going. A part of me genuinely asked myself, like, you know, I hope I didn't manifest this, but I was like, something's got to happen, right? Like, it can't be, I can't get this lucky. I look at some friends who lost a sibling to cancer, or I have some friends who lost their parents, or who just grew up in really challenging circumstances. And my life was not perfect. I'm not saying that my life was perfect, but I feel that overall I was fairly lucky and privileged. And you know, I remember after having that thought, that then when all of this happened and it was like a domino of one at a time, everything that I was so amazed by how well it was going was on fire. Yesterday was on fire. Some of my friendships were on fire. My relationship that I had at the time, on fire. My mom being sick. It was just, there was no aspect of my life that wasn't on fire.
And that's when you asked why, and looked up at the sky, and it started to rain.
Yeah.
And earlier in your life, you asked yourself, how could you be this lucky?
And I mean, this moment is exactly why I chose to focus more on, I just realized, okay, if I don't take care of myself, I am going to crumble.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. Like there is no way to, at some point, when life gets too painful, you just have to transform to be able to match that level of pressure. You know, those are the two options, right? Pressure goes up. If you're down here, you either get pulled all the way down here, or you're down here and the pressure is here and you realize you're not the person that you need to be to handle this. What do? You have to lift yourself up.
Yeah.
You have to do in baby steps, just what can I do today to feel more able to cope with the stress, pain, and anger?
To handle it in a healthy way, right? Which
Exactly.
we've been speaking about. The crossroad of going the dark way, and it could have been very dark and crumble.
Yeah.
Or going the other way. Talk about it, work out, cry, other ways that you've been doing to be able to like let it out, release it in a healthy way.
And this is the beauty of life. Even when your external world is burning, you still have the option to choose how you react.
Yeah.
We sometimes don't think we have the choice, right?
Is that
because
a deep lesson that...
That's the biggest lesson, is ultimately, even when everything feels unfair, everything is falling apart, you still have the option to choose. You can still decide. The force exists within you, and ultimately you do not need to have all the answers. But you just need to figure out, what can I do today to be a little bit more able to cope with this? And sometimes it's about allowing yourself to sleep in. Sometimes it's going for a workout. Sometimes it's having a cry session with your friend. But whatever it is that you need to do to be able to cope with the level of pain in a healthy way, that doesn't feel like you're defaulting to it, but you're choosing to do this because it's good for you, that is a step in the right direction, right? And over time, I think that for me, what worked for me was focusing on my nutrition, focusing on my exercise. And all of this helped me tell myself through my actions that I am a person that knows how to show up for myself. And that I am prioritizing my health so that I can have energy to ultimately be of service to my mom and to my family. Because if my anxiety is so much that I'm having panic attacks, I can't serve my family. If I'm so tired when I come that I can't spend the night and be up all night taking my mom to the bathroom, I can't be of service, right? So if I show up with half my battery, how am I going to help?
Yeah, and to be able to show up with a good battery was to...
You need to do all these things.
To care of yourself,
taking care of myself. And again, I could talk about all of the little things that served me for hours, but ultimately, the people know what they need. And sometimes, most of the time, that choice requires discomfort, right? Because I didn't have an exercise routine. I was eating whatever, Uber Eats, I wasn't meditating on a daily basis. I had things that just were not under control. And to do that while in pain is incredibly more difficult, but 10 times more rewarding, right? Because now there's an actual real life need for it that is happening now. And what I feel after all of this is that I've changed a lot as a human being, but now that my life is slowly stabilizing more into peace, I feel that I had to level up to be up here to handle the pressure that was here. And now that the pressure has gone down a little bit, there still is pressure, but it's down from what it was before. I now feel very comfortable in existing in my current life because I've learned that I can actually make it through a really painful period. And I can trust myself, and I can trust my friends, my family around me to be a good enough support system to get it on the other side.
I just want to say thank you again, bro, for sharing these things, because it's such private, personal thing to talk about. So to be able to get into your heart and to tap in this conversation with other people listening here, and so I just want to say thank you, man. I'm once again truly inspired is not even the right word, but I can feel it in my whole body, of you opening up about these things and choosing despite pain. I get inspired to continue my life despite the pain. We can talk about another day in my life, to continue choosing the light, not the dark. It's a very good crossroad there. Continue choosing the light, because I've been choosing the dark many times in my life when it's the pain been too heavy, and I know you as well when it's been too heavy, and people listening as well. And we're not in a sense wrong human beings. Helena would have reminded about that. We are not being here to be judged. We're here to be seen and loved. But the more we can continue choosing the path that is good for us and our surrounding is a big win. So thank you for giving that gem of wisdom in a very very tough situation and experience.
But I can say that now it's been very interesting seeing my whole family going through a bit of a spiritual awakening, because my
Mhm.
mom went through it when she was sick. When she was ill, she went through a very deep spiritual transformation of
Mhm.
meditating an hour a day, of visualizing herself with her future grandchildren. Of,
Mhm.
she would spend an hour a day in very deep states of meditation, and a lot of the time we would do it together.
Mhm.
We did one with you, Amar, my mom and I,
Mm.
and it was a very beautiful, beautiful moment. And I experienced, just I think things that will stay within more closed rooms, but just moments of connection that don't make any sense, that science could not explain. Moments of telepathy and just very absurd situations that made me understand that there is a realm that I didn't know existed. And we
How does that make you feel talking about that in that sense? Because I can see something changes in your face, like when you say a realm that you didn't know existed.
It makes me feel very humbled to
Mhm.
the grandeur of our existence. And I don't need everyone watching this to believe what we're saying. Everyone can have their own interpretations of what life is and how it functions. But I've had direct experiences that to me have shown me things that is enough for me to understand certain things and to have a different view now of how life works. And what I'm trying to practice now, and where I struggle some days with, is thinking about how can I develop a new relationship with my mom that isn't necessarily 100% rooted in this physical world, but between the spiritual world and our physical world. And how can I be a good enough vehicle to be open enough to receive whatever I might be feeling is coming from my mom. And that's a journey that I'm on now, and that I am noticing that people that haven't lost someone who is very, very close don't necessarily always understand. I know you understand because you've been open to these things for a long time, but most people who haven't aren't.
Yeah.
But my
and
friends,
we don't speak about these things either. I think this is my first time ever speaking about these things. Yeah, it is. I've never ever spoken about it in a setting like this.
One day we can go into our more spiritual sides, because I think
if people wish, we can see if people wish.
One day, if it's something that you'd be interested in, we'd be happy to share it. Ultimately, everyone's spiritual interpretations of life is very personal, and we share things in the videos that we try to make sure are universal, and spiritual beliefs are very personal. And I don't want to have any influence on anyone else's beliefs or understandings, but what's given me peace is knowing that my mom's spirit exists in a different form, and I'm now just trying to learn how to coexist with that. And the grief that I feel today is just from the loss of all of the future experiences that I'm not going to get to have with my mom.
Yeah.
And what we tried so hard to visualize together with my mom is her holding her grandchildren in the future, because that was her biggest dream, and that's what she was visualizing continuously. And I think she's not going to get to do that in the physical world, but I know that she'll be holding them regardless. And
for sure, I share that belief.
To be honest, even when I'm speaking about it now, it still feels surreal. Like a part of me still thinks I'm going to go home and my mom is going to be there.
Yeah.
Like this all still feels like a mirage to me. It feels like some weird dream that's never ending, and that none of this is actually real. And that in the middle of this conversation, I'm going to wake up and be like, wow, that was a weird, crazy dream. How long was that?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And there are moments where reality hits, when I realize that it is real and that it is permanent and that it has happened. And it's still something I think I'm learning how to deal with.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, I've never ever experienced something like that, so I only try to be as a good, friend and brother to you as possible, but I'm trying to support in my way, but
Thank you.
Yeah, I see you in that journey and trying to find a way how to relate and understand and the new relationship and not understand as well, because I think that's some part as well of the human experience that sometimes, yeah, it's hard to understand. But we try to find new ways, new relationships, as you said, very beautifully said, by the way, that you are finding a new relationship to your mother. It's a beautiful way to see it. And I know I've said this sentence to you many times, but like the pain in our bodies and the pain here on earth will, you know, she will forever be remembered. That's like by fact, she will forever be remembered. But it can be created, yeah, as you said, a different relationship. Beautiful way of seeing it. May I ask you, like, yeah, how does that relationship expresses itself without going into too many details? But you said that it's humbled you and so, but yeah, it's a very interesting topic in the sense of that you never speak about these things, you know, like in the world. So
yeah.
So
I think that's a can of worms, but ultimately I just feel that I've experienced things in the physical world that I knew came from her. And I don't need other people to believe me or to you know, it doesn't really, what other people think doesn't really matter to me when it comes to this. Because I know.
But for you,
I know for it to be true, and so for that reason, it gives me a sense of peace to know, because there's just situations that don't make any possible logical sense, and you could try to bend it in like what a, you know, but it does. It's enough evidence for me to believe, and for that reason, I'm now trying to just tune more into that and to feel guided by her creativity through what we get to do, because she was one of the most creative people that I ever met, and she always encouraged me to be creative. You know, even when I wasn't great at school, she sometimes she's funny because she'd always find a way to make it, spin it into something good. But I would write a whole essay that didn't even answer the question. And the teacher was like, "Well, it was like, you know, it wasn't really on topic." And my mom would be like, "Well, it's kind of creative that you interpreted the question. You interpreted the question totally wrong, but I could see how you got there."
That's the thing. School trying to box us, and your mom is taking you out of that.
Yeah, she always encouraged creativity. And when I started making videos, she was like, "That's awesome. Like, express yourself, go create, like do things, write things, have fun." You know, like she was always encouraging that.
Yeah, I believe like we carry the body, but the spirit changes rooms. Like one room is this body, and then we change room and these different rooms. But we'll see if people would be curious and if we are ready to speak more about these topics. But I think it's very brave of you and me, first time for me speaking about these topics like this, to openly.
We'll have a deep chat about this, because you've got a lot more to say about it than I do. So I'm speaking these words, but yeah, I'm excited to dive into it from your perspective.
Right time and place, and I think just that living in this world, you know, we don't speak about the things that matter always. We just run around and, you know, so talking about what matters, family, and also what matters is to try to understand, maybe even if it's a thing to try to understand, but like just try to share stories of experiences down here. It gives me comfort. That's what comes to me, you know. Gives me comfort, and a very well, talking about comfort, if there is someone out there, which I'm sure, sending lots of love to whoever is out there who is going through a journey that might be similar to yours, or through another journey that is challenging. Do you have any advice to give, or any encouraging words?
I'll just speak straight to you. If you're watching this and you're going through a painful, difficult time, first of all, know that we got you. We're standing behind you, and we are sending you so much strength for the journey that you're on. You are not alone, and even if you do not have people surrounding you on an everyday basis that might support you, maybe you do, but if you don't, and especially if you don't, know that we are sending you so much good energy, strength, and love in your direction. My only advice in this moment is to have faith and to keep going. It's you do not need to know everything. You don't need to have all the answers, but just focus on the little things that you can do today to be stronger, to be better, to invite more love into your own heart. Because ultimately right now, whatever is testing you, whatever is currently happening to you, it is going to pass. And all I can say is, in this moment, it might feel like the darkness is there and will never leave. But if you give yourself a little bit of space, day by day, and have courage, the light will come back. And I hope that you hold on to that, and that you do whatever you have the capacity to do today, to just trust. Because on the other side of this challenge, you will end up a stronger person, you will end up a more compassionate person, and I hope that ultimately it will put you in a place where you are even more comfortable to receive and to give love. So just know that it is not permanent. This too shall pass, and we're standing behind you.
Beautiful, man. You're a man with words, bro.
Thanks,
Beautiful,
man. Thanks, man.
That's beautiful words.
Yeah, it's I can't even imagine the pain that a lot of people are experiencing. And unfortunately, we've created a society where it's more normal to pretend it's not happening than it is normal to actually cry or ask for help. And if there's anything that Yes Theory can represent, I think it's in changing that. And in, I think we need to understand that why are we pretending?
Yeah.
It's everything is confusing. We don't know what any of this is.
We
don't know why any of this is happening. We don't know why we're here. We don't know why any of this worked. But that still doesn't explain any of why we're here.
100%.
And that's the beautiful thing. It's about learning how to surrender and trusting. And ultimately, the simplest, truest answer that I found after asking myself a lot of questions about what the hell any of this is about, it's about love. And it sounds so freaking cliche. It's the most freaking cliche thing of all time, but it's true. It's about learning how to invite it more into your own heart, and then learning how to express it more freely and openly around you. That's all there is. Like, everything else is just noise and like a way to get to that place. Like, that's all it is.
Beautiful said. Beautiful said.
And I hope that Yes Theory can continue being a place where people who maybe do not feel a sense of belonging can feel a sense of belonging. And that this podcast, because we're going to have a little micro community here.
Yeah, we are.
Yes Theory has
questions, join us.
Exactly.
Figuring out life, we not knowing, and we both love science as well, so we're going to like share things from science.
Absolutely.
But we are trying to figure out life together, like dating might be a topic.
That might be a topic, yeah, hopefully.
We'll see what pops. Might be like traveling, might be like friendships, all of the above, family. Like, we wish to be as honest and transparent and real as we have the capacity for in the moment, because that's the only promise we can give to ourselves, to not overstep boundaries, or to you and to people, like being in this moment. And the more we can build this community, people listening and writing in and being in this little thing we're creating here. We'll see where it takes. It feels like we're sending off a whole new thing. And just want to say as well, you were talking about light before, and I believe that light never can be buried. It can only, and people try to bury things in society as well. I've done it for sure, and we'll have more times about that. But I've been feeling so much shame, about things and guilt about things in my life. So I don't dare to put it in the light, right? But it's in the light, it gets released. That's where it loses its power.
Yeah.
And talking about light and wrapping up this episode today, Helena, her name means, as you know, as I know, shining light. So as much as the light is shining through the forest where we set up our own little podcast studio today with our chairs we got today and the tripods today, and these tripods are going to follow us on the travels now, and the shining light is going to follow us on the travels as well, and I'm sure as well that Helena is going to follow us on the travels as well. So thank you everyone for tuning in this moment, and want to say thank you to you, Thomas. Want to say thank you to your entire family as well, Camilla, Niklas, Frederick, and everyone beyond as well, of being part of this journey in life, and saying thank you.
We're starting a little, Mike. I'm excited about this because Yes Theory has grown into like, it's taken its own life, you know, and people have subscribed over so many years, expecting different things. But this community here, I think, is going to be really core Yes Theory right now, at least in this moment.
Yeah.
And that feels good because the people joining us here are really going to be the people who want to go deeper.
Yeah.
And so, if you are here, please let us know in the comments down below what you feel like you would want this to go. And also, if you are going through your own grief or your own period of darkness and pain, feel free to share your story in the comment section if you feel comfortable. And I hope that we can have it as a safe space for people to just support each other. And I encourage those of you reading the comments to go leave some nice responses for those people who are going through a hard time, because sometimes all it takes is one response from somebody to feel seen and heard. And I think we're going to do a good job at, hopefully alongside all of you watching, making a beautiful space here for all of us to convene, sit back, relax, and have a meaningful, deep conversations about life.
Yeah, we are bringing these chairs, these tripods on the road now. So
how are we gonna carry all this?
Well, we'll figure it out.
Because we already carry like a lot of stuff when we're traveling. So we're gonna bring these. This chair is coming with us.
I got them today, and I tested them in my backpack, and we carried them here, so it's gonna fit. So
it's gonna be heavy.
It's gonna be heavy, so that's where we need your support, guys. But
I mean, I'm so curious to see where this podcast goes. You know, I think I read something that like most podcasts don't make it past episode 10 or episode 20 or something like that.
We
should look that up. We just got to make it past the average podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
And then after that, we see if we keep going.
Yeah.
Mainly, let's see if we're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm having fun so far, and I appreciate you allowing me to have this space. This podcast was a bit more unusual because it's more speaking about something that comes from me, but in the future I'm excited to have more conversation formats and just go deep, and because we do this all the time regardless when we're not filming. So
hotel rooms and mornings and evenings. And
so now we'll just be rolling.
Yeah.
And I hope that it could provide as much value to people watching as possible.
That's our intention. That's our pure intention. So we see you.
So
and
we don't know what the name is
yet,
but whatever it is down below,
we see you.
subscribe.